everyone, welcome to the first Chitter Chatter of 2022. How have everyone been? How was New Year? And Happy New Year to all of you. So today's chit chat is with author Satyendra Singh on his book On a Voyage with the Greats. 204 days of global pilgrimage. Well, this was the first pilgrimage and voyage I had in this corona times. And I'm sure you will enjoy this book too. You will know about all the historic leaders, especially these three of them, and you'll know them more as a person. As you can see the picture closely, the book has in detail about Mahatma Gandhi, about Subhash Chandra Bose and Swami Vivekananda ji. And let me tell you, you have known a lot about them. And you must have read a lot since you're avid readers. But when you read this book, you will still know so much more and you would want to Google so much more. That's exactly what happened with me while I was on this voyage. And right now, I'm going to send an invite to the author since he's right here. And we're going to get started with this chitter chatter. And thank you guys for sending in your questions. I've noted it all and I'm going to ask him all of it. Hey Mickey Motwani, hey Poonam, hey Karanveer Sharma, Bagir Niraj, hi. And everyone out here, thank you for joining Chitter Chatter. I'm sending a request to the author and we are going to first Chitter Chatter. And we are going to get started with the first Chitter Chatter of 2022. So I've just sent him a request and hopefully we shall get started very soon. So guys, have you all set a Goodreads challenge? Have you all decided what are you all going to read? What is the challenge you all are planning to do? I'm a little confused. Well, okay, I've just invited and let's invite. I've just sent him an invite. Sir, are you getting an invite? You're showing me invite, but I can't see you. Hey Joe, Being Sumo, hi. Alt Raja, hi. So guys, which is the first book you all are reading? Like I said, this was the first book that I've read and it was the best book to start my year with. So tell me, comment while the author joins in that what is the book that you all are reading. And the request is gone in, so he's going to join this chitter chatter really soon. Also, let me tell you that, hello, welcome to the chitter chatter of 2022.
Hi Shweta, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
All well. Thanks a lot.
So I have to first thank you for writing this book, which had so much more knowledge about these three leaders. I mean, I knew them. I've read about them in my history books, but for once I felt I know them as people, where their journey started. And the best part was, it was not like a history textbook that I would get bored and I'll be like, okay, you know what? I'm going to read this later. It was really fun. And like your title says, On a Voyage with the Greats, I literally felt I was on a journey with them. So yeah, thank you for writing
Thank
this
you
book
so
and
much.
looking forward for many more.
Yeah, sure. I'll try my best.
So sir, I want to know and all the viewers want to know that tell us a little from your side about this book.
Sure. See, the intention of writing this book was definitely, as you told, and I'm very happy that it is coming from you, vivid reader, that history traditionally is seen as, jumbled of dates and incidents and some personalities, and it becomes very boring. And usually when you take the books about certain great personalities, it is either A to Z, their life history, that they were born somewhere, who was their father, mother, what was the date, and then it goes on till, their life ends. Or there are certain books which go on at a very high level academic analysis of their contributions, their work. And both of these things are not, the young people are not attracted by both of these things. So I realized that there could be something in the middle where they pick these people up. And I mean, looking into the youth today, I tried to, take something which interests them and it is in their flavor. So this book is an attempt to give a flavor to them where they are very interested to read, and maybe they will catch up, they will be interested to catch up more about these people later.
Definitely, because like you said, when we read, and the fun part is we get to know them as people. not just as
Yes.
the leaders or the father of the nation that we've grown up with. And when you read, you want to know a lot more. So automatically we tend to Google, at least that's what I did. There were times I read and I'm like, oh, is this true? And I wanted to know something more about it. And it automatically just leads you to know a lot more and research on it a lot more. But what I want to know from you is, when you were going
Yeah.
through your research, how did you choose on these three leaders to be the first part of your first book?
That's an incidental. It was not a plan. Incidental means I visited Art Institute of Chicago when I was in Chicago once, and I was fascinated by that place. That how come in 1893 this person came here, and he became a hero, instant hero at this place, hundred year back. Uh, that was the starting point, one point. Another point was, the Gandhi movie. When I saw, I was very young in 1982, and its opening scene of that movie is where he is ejected from a train and he is stranded on a platform in the night. So, these fascination that how these people traveled there. The third personality, Netaji Subhas, is another intriguing personality. Every youth in India considers him a hero. How he traveled from Germany to Japan in Second World War is a question. Many people think how he must have traveled. So instead of focusing on the bigger events, if we just focus on their journey, and these three people actually are very, who brought the fundamental changes in their own time of work.
Right.
Rest of the works are somewhere related to either of them. But these three people started a new thing on their own. So that's how these three people came together. And incidentally, all of them have a fascinating journey associated with them, which was life-changing for them and life-threatening for them. All kinds of flavor you will find in these three journeys.
Like you said, life-threatening events and, life-changing events. What was your life lesson or life-changing moment while you were penning down about these three heroes?
Actually, there cannot be one answer to this. The thing is that you don't consider them as Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose or Mahatma Gandhi or Vivekananda when you are traveling with them. You are traveling with them as a normal co-passenger, and you realize how difficult it is and how this person was, facing it throughout his journey. So you immediately become a co-passenger and start empathizing with that person, not as a great hero, but as a normal human being, as your co-passenger. And you actually realize that how difficult this journey would have been. 90 days underwater for Netaji Subhas, or almost 60 days for Vivekanand to reach Chicago from Mumbai, is a fascinating thing. As a co-traveler, you realize every ups and downs, what's going on in their mind. You are very, able to read that mind very closely.
So, what was the most challenging part for you while you were writing this book?
Challenging was actually keeping myself to the journey, because when you write and when such people are there about whom people know, keeping yourself focusing and limiting yourself to the journey only is a challenge. As a writer, you start digressing. Number one. Number two, you have to actually give a little context of them. You cannot really write about a journey without, giving little context of that journey, the life of Vivekananda or little life of Gandhi, or why Netaji Subhas is in a submarine. So giving that context in a very right amount without, becoming big or without becoming too small. So as a writer, saving yourself, from, in the context of journey only, keeping yourself, that's a challenge, whether a writer can go here and there.
What was it?
And I'm still not sure. I'm getting a lot of positive feedback that this right amount is there or not. It's yet to, the readers will decide whether it is in right amount, or maybe I have already digressed.
So, readers, do buy your copies if you haven't, and read and do let the author know that has he been on the disciplinary journey with them or has he digressed. Whatever is your review, do DM him, do put it on Goodreads and other platforms. And this book is available online. Grab your copies and do let us know how you liked it. And trust me, I enjoyed, and I'm so glad that this was my first book of the year. I mean, it couldn't be anything better to start my Goodreads challenge with this. And back to
Right.
our chitter chatter. So, so they all are somewhere connected. At the same time, at different parts, they all had where they've had life changing moments. What was this one thing that you thought was similar amongst all three of them?
Similar in all three is, if you see Vivekananda's life, he impacted very, very deeply. Netaji was very deeply impacted by Vivekananda, and to a very large extent, Gandhi was also impacted by him.
Right.
So we see a connection, and then Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose was impacted by Gandhi as a young student when he came back from England. We joined him, and he was fascinated while he was in England only that something big is happening in India in 1920, and I have to go back and join. And he grew. I mean, almost 18 years he worked with Indian National Congress, and he grew from a 21-year-old boy to a mature person, and he became a national hero. So there is an interrelation between these, which I have described. I've tried to research and tried to describe the interrelation of these three personalities. Readers will have to see the first chapter where there is an interrelation of these three people is being described.
It's very in the beginning, which actually captures you while you're reading. Like, it's at the right moment, I would say, while reading, which kind of took me as a surprise because, like I said, we've always known about them from the point where, like, we've actually never seen their journey. It's always about these are the things that they did, and that's it. It's more like history description about them. It's not about why they started it, where it started, and all of it. And at that journey where, like you mentioned, the very beginning, it is, how they are interconnected. It just holds
Yeah.
on and makes you quite inquisitive to know a lot more and how the influences are there and all of it. So, like we said, readers, go get your copy and do let us know what you liked and what did you find similar amongst them. Also, what timeline did you take to write this book? Because we know that you love history, you've been reading books, and a lot of research has been going in the back even before you started writing because you love history books and you've been reading and visiting places. But when you sat down to pen this book, what was the timeline that you gave yourself?
See, for a working professional, writing is always an extracurricular activity, and without impacting your profession, you have to, do this job. So actually, I had not given myself in my first book. I never gave myself a timeline. I was, doing my journey. I was collecting data. I was reading. I was trying to get more and more detail about this journey, minutest of journey. Especially Netaji Subhas's journey is not so much, out in the public till very late.
Right.
Lot of people, did the war archives from Germany, and they could get certain details. So my target was to get more and more details of every minute, whatever is possible from variety of sources, and then cross-verifying it, because certain places, people exaggerate or they have not researched. So I cannot rely on those information. So I have to find my own information by to and fro verification. So it took me about, more than 3 to 4 years, I can say, of writing it. And parallelly, researching, because they were three entirely separate chapters. So while I am writing one, I can, afford to do research on the another one.
So, like you said, like for a person where writing is an extracurricular activity, there are also some days where, since it's an extracurricular activity, you can be like, okay, I'm going to do it later. So, did you face those kind of days where you were like having a writer's block, or you were having laziness, or you were like, okay, you know what, let this be on hold because I don't have an extreme deadline to catch? Or was it the
Yes.
enthusiasm just like us? Like, and how did you overcome those days?
Ah, that's a very interesting one. Actually, within that the period I gave you 3.5 years. Out of that, at least I think 6 to 8 months continuously were completely lull. I didn't write a single word. You know, research was complete. Uh, I have already told my nears and dears one that I am writing a book, and I'm not writing anything for 6 to 8 months continuously. And some people are asking, "Oh, how come? How far are you on the book?" And then I'm seeing, oh, for last 2 months I have not written anything. So it developed automatically. Later on it developed. Your motivation comes and goes. So once again the motivation comes and hits you and you start writing, uh, because most of these writing happens in a professional life. It happens in the night, after everybody is slept, you are doing some 2 3 hours you are giving for the writing. So the motivation definitely it goes up and down, and then suddenly it hits you hard and you start completing it. So that was my personal experience.
What was it like when you had the copy in your hand and you saw that the pilgrimage is over? The 204 days are finally come to an end, and you had your printed copy.
Oh yes, that many writers have answered its question. Actually, it is like your own kid. So you, like a newborn kid, you have your book, in your hand. And then there is only one thing remains, that how people are going to like it, or they are not going to like it, how they are going to find. Because you write, to some extent, writers write for themselves, and to some extent they write it for people who like it. Any book is not for everybody. I can't expect that 100 people will like this book. But it is also said that books always find their own audience.
Right,
So I'm just,
absolutely.
thinking. So I'm very overwhelmed with the response I'm getting, and especially from the youth. I'm getting so many emails that they like the book.
This book, I would say, is for people who would really want to know a lot more about history but have always found history boring. Trust me, you will have a different perspective about history. You might just go to your school and be like, get your history books written by Sir, because the way he's written this doesn't look like history. I mean, hats off to you to have a historical thing without fiction put out there and yet make it so entertaining. Like, there was not a point anywhere where I felt I wasn't with them on this journey. It was literally as if a spirit of me was walking around with them, and you literally transport us to that era, which was the best part.
Yeah, exactly. And you, many times you feel that, if you are in their place, what will you do? So if any reader, I've spoken to some readers that while reading this book, they were thinking, at this point I would have given up, but this man is not giving up. So no, that is why these people are great, because they didn't give up. And there were so many points during this journey where they had reached their threshold of giving up. The difficulties were so big and so against you, and they kept moving, and they reached where they reached.
So, what is your mantra of life? Because like you mentioned that they never gave up, they moved where they had to move, they faced all the challenges, and that's why they're the greats, because they reached where they wanted to. What is your mantra of life?
After you read these three personalities, and there is a big life lesson from all three, which I have concluded in the last chapter. Is that never give up, and your focus and drive. If we see all three, their focus and their drive was enormous. Uh, and they were not only preachers. All three, they are not preachers. All three are action oriented people, and they are continuously translating their belief into action. All three are known because they delivered something concrete, and which was very, very difficult. You will find many preachers who are preaching, but when you see what is their body of work, you don't find much, ideological or theological thing. But here are the three people who converted their ideas into concrete action which impacted the whole world. So always, I think the mantra of new generation of India, where India is today, it should be action. Translate your thoughts into actions. And walk, walk the talk.
So that's something that I would like to highlight in our chitter chatter today for all the people out there, that translate your thoughts into actions. Enough of thinking, start getting out there and taking action. What better New Year resolution than this thought? And so before we move to the last segment of chitter chatter, which is a quick rapid fire chitter chatter, do you have your copy around so that we can take a selfie moment with the book?
Oh yes, let me see.
That's a selfie moment. Smile. Okay, and now let's get to our last section, which is a chitter chatter round. So I'm going to ask you some questions, and the first thing that comes to your mind, in one word or one line, what is history for you?
Pardon?
What is history for you?
History is a lesson from the past.
What is the first biography book that you read?
Childhood. I read first biography of Dr. C.V. Raman. A small book I was given in gift when I was very small kid. I still remember that.
Your first historical fiction book that you read?
Historical fiction, I don't think I have read any. I have read pure history or pure fiction.
Okay. First book that you remember generally which was a fiction and it's still registered in your mind?
That was a Hindi literature book. A book called Mela Achal by Panishwarnath Redu is a famous literary personality in Hindi. His famous novel is Mela Achal. I think the movie is also made on it. And that gives a good glimpse of, post-independence India, the villages, how, development was coming and how people were looking at it. It's an interesting read. You can see the movie also by the same name.
If you had to transport back in an era, which one would it be?
Come again.
If you had to transport back in an era, which one would it be?
It will definitely be the freedom struggle of India. I would like to be between 1920 and 1930.
If you had to have a chat with one of the historical personalities, not these three, because you've already been on a voyage with these three greats, who would it be?
It will be Bhagat Singh.
It will be Bhagat Singh. One thing that you had to tell Nehruji, what would it be?
Your voice is not clear now. Come again.
If there was one thing that you had to mention to Nehruji, what would it be?
Nehruji. There are so many things. No, Nehru is now become a very, type of personality where a lot of things are said about him. I personally believe he is an architect of modern India. So definitely I would tell him something on the China war, how we should handle differently, which now we can see is going against him. So few of these things, maybe something like Kashmir, how he handled, maybe he could have done little different.
What is the current book you're reading?
Right now, I'm reading a couple of books on Bhagat Singh because that is where my next book is coming. So one is, interwar revolution book by a researcher, an Australian researcher, Kama MacLean. And another book on Bhagat Singh is by Kuldeep Nayyar. So these two I am parallelly reading, and I'm trying to complete my research. Again, reading for writing a story kind of thing, historical story, you have to pick minute things from the book, to and fro verification. So that's what I'm doing between these two books right now.
If you had to change one moment in the history, what would it be?
One event.
Yeah, you had to change it. You could stop it, you could modify it, you could do anything with that one event. What would it be
Uh,
and what would you do?
Maybe I will definitely change the division of India.
I agree with you on that. I would love if somebody would do that.
Right?
So, on that note, now whatever words I ask, the first word that comes to your mind. So, on a voyage with the greats.
Uh, your journey changes you. You know, the journey changes your life.
Swami Vivekanand ji.
Uh, in ancient Indian knowledge going to West,
Chicago.
a city of Vivekanand.
That's so correct. Okay. Gandhi ji.
Gandhi ji is, who brought Indians on a street for the first time.
Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose.
He electrified the country at his time.
Conspiracy theories.
Conspiracy theories. Conspiracy theories are some people's, gossip. We should not take it too seriously.
And lastly, chitter chatter with Shweta Roira.
Come again?
I said, and the lastly, chitter chatter with Shweta Roira.
Our voice is not coming.
I said, and the last thing, chitter chatter with Shweta Roira.
Yeah. So I will request everybody to, read this book and, take energy from you. You are being so energetic here. So I'll request the youth to take cue from you and read this book.
So guys, on that cue, today, after our chitter chatter, do go download your copies, buy your copies, spread the word, and do let Sir know and put in your reviews and spread the word. Like I said, let us know what you liked about the book, what have you loved about the book, and also, if you have missed any part of this chitter chatter, then it's going to be on IGTV, so you can watch it, you can tag your friends, and it's also going to be on YouTube and Spotify. Thank you so for your time, and we're looking forward to many, many, many more books from you.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Sure, I'll try. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and all the guys, happy New Year and happy reading.
Thank you.